Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Studio Series line. I do believe this is Studio Series number 38, Voyager Class Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie. I may be wrong about the number, but it is from the Bumblebee movie. This is based on the design we saw in the Cybertronian scenes and that little bit at the end, driving across the Golden Gate Bridge. This design is based heavily on the classic Generation 1 cab-over-engine truck design, which has polarized some in the community. There are some of the die-hard movie purists that feel anything that looks close to the original G1 animation toy designs has no place in the film, where there are guys like me who said, well, if the toys and the characters look like this since the first film, we would have been a lot more receptive. All I know is this is actually a pretty fun figure. Very intuitive with the transformation. After you do it a couple times, it's second nature. Every panel, every part has a place in vehicle mode and robot mode. You do end up with a little kibble, but we'll get there when we get there. We're starting off in truck mode, and this is how the instructions show you to store his rifle. I guess you can say this is the ion blaster. It's been zhushed up a little for the movie. You have a pronounced magazine clip, as well as what I guess could be a little bayonet, or just a little flare of attachment. The way you can store it, whether this is intentional or not, is to come underneath the truck. Let's move some of these panels out of the way here. Open up those panels to give yourself plenty of room, and then just slide it in. It will friction hold into place, just like that. You can push those panels back into place, bring that down. I'm not sure about those side canisters, if I should be rolling them back down or not, but there you have the gun stored underneath. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if this is intentional or not. You kind of are led to believe it would fit in with the pegs going that way, but it is what it is. That is one complaint I have of the Studio Series, that they really don't incorporate the weapons into the alternate modes like they did on the previous movie figures. So, we'll pause, and we'll get into the transformation. Okay, so I just went ahead and adjusted the camera angle, gave us a little more room to work with. Basically, what's nice is the transformation is split into two parts. You do the legs, then the cab, and then when you're going to vehicle, you do the cab and then the legs. It's not like you're having to jump back and forth. First thing is you want to go and remove the gun here if you haven't already. Open that up. You can leave those down. We'll deal with them eventually. Come back here. You want to unpeg this whole leg section. There are holes here and tabs here that will go into the posts here on the back of the smokestacks, and little slots here on the back of what would be the robot's elbows. You can come underneath and then roll those into place. Next, what you want to do is come in and separate the legs and separate that part as well. Flip the trailer hitch down, unpeg the foot from the inside and rotate it out and about. Do that on both sides. Next, what you want to do is rotate the foot so it is flat, and then on that gray hinge, wiggle it around and flip it up into place so that it's underneath this blue section with those tabs. Next, what we're going to do is going to bring these sections forward. Oh, I guess those little gray panels can help with a little kickstand. You want to open the panels up, like fold them out and down. Do it on this side. there's always one that seems to stick a little more than others. I don't know why, and it's very strange that it happens like this, but that's one thing, little negative I can give about the figure, is you will find that there are panels that will stick, and then there are panels that will come a little too easily, and of course the concern is you don't want to break anything. Am I folding it the wrong way? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, there we go. Well, it came off the pole there, but there you go. Just flip it out. What you're going to do now is keep the legs straight. There's like a little tab here that will you bring the knee down and it'll tab into place. And then this is kind of interesting here. You have that panel down that will sit, and then you bring this down, and that will actually lock everything. It'll peg into the leg, and then it'll basically, that panel will clip into the heel there and then peg into that side piece. So let's do it again on this side. Let's see if I can give you a better angle. Like I said, it's just bring this down. That'll peg there. That'll peg there. Hold that in. And then just bring this down and around. Make sure it all dips in. And there you go. And then the final bit here, you got these little nubbins on the side. Rotate those up. If they would sort of, they will move just through the nature of transformation, as well as these little gas canisters. So, but just make sure that you do it then. And we'll talk more about the ankles as we move along. The next step is basically now you're going to come to the front of the cab. You want to unhook that section, bring it down. You want to start unpegging panels and all that good stuff here from the side. Flip those down and around. The wheels do peg in, but they also usually end up really just sitting there. So that's something you want to be aware of. Bring this side panel down, that side panel down. Fold it up, fold it down, up, down, up, down. Come along the top here. This little shoulder section. Well, actually, I shouldn't say the shoulder section, but the top section here, that actually will be you'll see that there, it's on a double hinge. That actually makes some great shoulder pads in robot mode. Open up the windshields here, flip the little panels in like that. And then you do the classic Optimus Prime transformation, flip the arms out, bring them forward, close up the panel again. Straighten the arm out, bring it up and out to the side. That will give you some room to maneuver. As you can see, those panels do move out of place. Come around the back here, bring down this whole section, which is the head. Rotate the figure at the upper torso. Do not let it rotate at the waist. There you go. Open up those panels again. Flip the this back section open like that. Flip up the chest section with the head. Now these panels will peg in to that section. You can, I guess right now you want to make sure those wheels stay out of the way. Bring up the torso. That's one thing is in vehicle mode, the hip section here really doesn't sit into place, and going from vehicle to robot, or I'm sorry, robot to vehicle can sometimes cause a little bit of an issue with things not lining up. Go ahead, bring these panels back, and you're going to fold the panels back over the wheels. This, what was the front grille, will now fold up on the back of the robot, and it will, if you have it lined up correctly, will tab into place and hook in with that red section. Last bit, you can bring the arms down, fold those shoulder panels down. Now, you want to rotate the forearm, but you want to do it below the elbow joint. It will go into a fixed position both ways, so you don't have to worry about overturning. And, yeah, for lack of a better word, here is Optimus Prime in its robot mode. Very nice, very big. Let's give him his weapon. I shouldn't say very big. It is a Voyager class figure, but he does pose quite nicely and cuts a dapper jib, if you will. So, let's pause, and we'll talk more about robot mode. Okay, a few things I just want to go over is the head is on a ball joint, but it's very interesting. It tends to have, like, fixed positions, so you have front to the side there, the side there. It can go all around, but it kind of locks into position, which is okay, I guess, depending on how you look at it. The arms we kind of touched upon, but you do have those shoulder pads that will move out of the way for the lateral movement. That's something I find very interesting. That's something that the Japanese have been doing on their action figures for a very long time now, and I would say within the last couple of years, Hasbro has started doing by either use on its Marvel Legends by using soft plastic or putting hinges in to armor plating to allow the arm movement, and I do like it that it's coming over here onto the Transformers. The backpack, as I said, folds up quite nicely. You do have two holes right there that you can store the gun on the back and either of the ports. Now, I do want to talk about the feet. As you may have caught, there is, a nice little bit of ankle pivot, and there is some movement there. But, as you just saw, there's the problem. Moving the feet back and forth, you do run the risk of unhooking it from this back panel. Now, you can do that and free up the articulation, or if you're like me, just make sure when you're moving it, you hold down in place so the post doesn't come undone. Obviously, there is a waist swivel, so I would say this is a fairly articulated Optimus Prime. You have the bend at the elbow, swivel at the bicep, rotation at the fist, all that good stuff. One thing that I think the photos kind of really didn't show that well is how that forearm kibble kind of folds up quite nicely. You just want to be mindful every now and then if it'll come unpegged. But like I said, this is a nice interpretation, modern interpretation of what a G1 Optimus Prime would look like done in that movie styling. That instead of the clean look, you do have the black wash, dry brushing along the grills here, his ab section. It's more of a svelte figure. I guess that's the right term. But it does look good, and this does look like Optimus Prime, which is a problem I've had with a lot of the movie designs where if I didn't have the name in front of me, I wouldn't know who they are. So, we'll pause, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Okay, I went ahead and just stored the ion blaster there on the back. Like I said, it can be done just to show it off. I think this is a great figure. I think this is a figure that maybe should have been Wave 1, Wave 2, the latest from the Bumblebee movie line. I think it's clearly obvious if you look at what Takara put out with that larger scaled evasion mode Optimus Prime. They really didn't have the design for the movie designs for this figure yet, so that's why we got more of a traditional movie Optimus Prime look early on. I mean, I'll just say it right now. Had this figure come out sooner, this probably would have been a several 100,000 view video for some of us, but whatever. I mean, it's here now. I got this off of Amazon, and that's actually something I want to talk about. This figure has been available for, I would say, like 2 months now at brick and mortar retail. I would say it's just reaching saturation. But if you were to look online, it had a street date of April 1st, and if you pre-ordered or ordered there, you kind of had to wait. The reason that happens is Hasbro has to give preference to its brick and mortar retailers, because if they were to allow the online retailers like Amazon to sell the figure at the same time or earlier than brick and mortar, places like Walmart and Target could very easily just turn around and say to Hasbro, you know what, we're done doing business with you. And I have to be honest with you, this figure was worth the wait. Yes, obviously I'll always say I prefer getting things earlier just so I can bring them to you sooner, but it's a great figure. And if you're not near Target or Walmart, or they don't have it in stock, going to Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, or even Target.com or Walmart.com or HasbroPulse.com to pick up the figure is a good decision. This is your old pal Chuck for Optimus Prime. We will see you next time.